Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take the top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and break them down into bite-sized pieces. Today we've got some quick articles, as this is the second video of the day. So first up, looks like the market is just chugging along quite nicely and rising, and it's going against the S&P 500, which actually went down also. We're going to take a look at a quick video. It's about a minute and a half or so, the 4 minutes, where it's going to remind everybody about the opportunity that we have right in front of ourselves from the man Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad, where he talks about in 2008 what kind of crisis they had then and what's going to happen now with the coronavirus. Also, Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler, who was also known as Senator Bitcoin, as coined by me, is under heat for going through what looks like insider trading. And this is an example of how the rich get richer, and there's different aspects that go on behind closed doors, which is keeping you and me from the golden opportunities as manipulation runs wild. And finally, buy Bitcoin, Google searches spike, reaching new high, which is the highest over the last 365 days, which is always great news as people are looking to get into Bitcoin. And the very last of this, we're going to go over the scam of the day, and we'll do that at the very conclusion of all these stories, but let's jump right in. So first up, as we talked about initially, looks like the cryptocurrency digital asset market is plugging along just nicely, which is a nice refreshing trend which has reversed itself from last Thursday when we had a huge massive sell-off where Bitcoin went down below 5,000. Now we're sitting around $6,100. Ethereum up to 131, XRP at 15 cents, Tether, who really cares? Bitcoin Cash 212, and so on and so forth. So I like to see this, and what I really like to see is how it is decoupling itself from the stock market or traditional markets, where we have the S&P 500 continue to take a slide day after day after day. So as these institutional investors finally got wrung out of our market, hopefully, they will be over here and start to see this downward trend as it keeps going farther and farther down. I do not expect this to stop whatsoever over the next weeks and months. So let's take a look at the type of opportunity that we have that is going to present itself over the next months and up to a couple of years. This is a video that I came across, and it is a perfect reminder of what could potentially happen if we have the ability to control our fear and our nerves. So this is, I'm not going to play the full 4 minutes. I just want you to watch the first minute and 37 seconds, and you're going to get the gist of it. I will link it in the description below so you can watch it, but it is powerful, and we all need to have a reminder from time to time, even myself. Let's take a listen.
Right now can actually be one of the greatest opportunities of your lifetime.
This crash is going to be so big, even if they solve the coronavirus crisis, it's still going to crash. Out of 100 people, only 2 will do it. You know, 100 years ago, if there was a stock market crash in England, it didn't affect anybody. But now the US market goes down, the world goes down. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're heading for a global depression. And now the good news is that for those who are prepared for it, you'll do better.
A recession or a bear market often only happens every decade. And so right now we're entering into that territory, and we haven't hit bottom yet. You know, things are going to get worse.
Most Americans are clueless. You know, they don't know what's going on.
You're going to have quite a few recessions and moments like this that will happen throughout your lifetime. And if you're smart and proactive, you can really take advantage of it in a great way. And for me right now, I'm looking to double or triple my net worth as things kind of rebound over the next year or so.
The last crash in 2008, you know, I was on Wolf Blitzer's program 6 months before Lehman Brothers went down. And I said Lehman was going down. And nobody listened, but it went down. And so I've been expecting this market to go down for quite a while.
One thing that Warren Buffett is known for saying is that you want to be greedy when people are fearful, and you want to be fearful when people are greedy.
Most people remember 2008. They all remember it because the best time to start a business is right after a crash. I made more money after 2008 than ever in my whole entire life.
So as we move forward and as the markets start to fluctuate greatly, when you see the price go down, remember what you just saw. Remember that, yes, it is going to feel very fearful. You're going to have that anxiety, but you have to control it and take under control your reptilian brain and use the logic that you were given to understand that as things go down, these are huge, huge opportunities that don't come around every so often. These are in every decade or sometimes even once in a lifetime if you're talking about cryptocurrency and digital assets. So I'm not saying to dump all of your money into cryptocurrency and digital assets. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that there are opportunities all over the place, even as everything crumbles around us. But just remember that things will turn around at some point, and the question is, what are you going to do to be on top? Moving on. So next up, the GOP senator from Georgia, Senator Kelly Loeffler, on insider trading claims absolutely false, cannot be true. So why am I talking about this story? Well, I'm talking about this story because Kelly Loeffler was the former CEO of BAKKT, and BAKKT was supposed to change everything for Bitcoin, and they had delays and they had different things, and they were supposed to be a real powerhouse as far as institutional investing and bringing institutions into the whole cryptocurrency game. Well, they kind of did that, but they fell pretty flat. I didn't think they really did that much to them. But Kelly Loeffler, after a short stint as a CEO, and she understands greatly how Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency digital asset game works, she was picked up to become the senator of Georgia. So she left that position as a CEO, went into the Senate, U.S. Senate, where she is poised to educate all the high-ranking officials in the Senate and Congress as to what cryptocurrency is all about and what it can do for them. So for me, I was personally excited about this because most of senators and U.S. congressmen, most, not all, have no clue what the hell is going on, or what the heck is going on, excuse me, as far as what is going on with cryptocurrency and how it can help. So I was ecstatic. Here's the problem. So when she stepped down, you have to understand that she was briefed on different things as far as like the coronavirus, about what was happening. She is on different committees that overlook the financial aspects of the U.S. economy. And when I looked at this article, this is from Breitbart. You have to understand this is a pretty right-leaning rag. But it goes on to say that during a Friday appearance on Fox News Channel's America's Newsroom, Senator Kelly Loeffler addressed the report that she sold over $1 million in stocks just weeks before the coronavirus pandemic triggered a major stock market drop. She states, if you actually look at the personal transaction reports that were filed, it notices at the bottom that I'm only informed of my transactions after they occur, or several weeks after. So now, as we know, and if you've watched my video as far as the bull run basics, you know that I am a big fan of limit orders and setting yourself up for an exit strategy. So maybe that's what she essentially had. You go, look, for all of my stocks in my portfolio, I'm going to set up limit orders or sell orders. And when they reach a certain point, they're just going to automatically sell. So I thought, well, maybe that's just an ignorance part of some people. They maybe don't understand that part. But you know, then I'm looking at it, I'm like, that can't be the whole story. It can't be the whole story. So I took a look at the actual video, which was from Fox News, and they really grilled her. So I'm going to have you watch this. It's about a couple minutes or so. I'm going to stop it after 2 minutes and 5 seconds, because this is where it all comes down to.
Been the right thing to slow this down, to develop diagnostics.
So, Senator, pardon me, you thought the government was prepared, yet shortly after that tweet that I just noted, you sold over $1 million in stocks in your own personal portfolio before the market went down. Were you trading on inside information about what was coming?
Well, I'm really glad you asked, Ed, because I do want to set the record straight. I've seen some of those stories, and it's absolutely false, and it could not be true. So if you actually look at the personal transaction reports that were filed, it notices at the bottom that I'm only informed of my transactions after they occur, several weeks. So certainly those transactions, at least on my behalf, were a mix of buys and sells, very routine for my portfolio.
Okay.
So there you go. End of story, correct? Or so I thought. And when I'm listening to this, I'm like, you know, if this is why some of my videos take a long time to get through. Because I have to really describe everything to you of what's going on. And sometimes I get a little loquacious and I get a little long-winded, but you have to understand, there's a story behind a story behind a story. So let's pick it up right after that.
And,
you say they were routine, Senator, pardon me, but I mentioned the sales before stocks went down. They also purchased your third-party advisors, Citnix, as I understand, which is a teleconferencing company. With workers displaced now, given the crisis, teleconferencing companies are doing quite well. Who are these third-party advisors? They seem to have a pretty good idea about where the market was headed.
Well, certainly I'm not involved in the decisions around buying and selling. There's a range of different decisions made every day with regard to my savings and 401k portfolios that I'm not involved in. And certainly, like any other trade, you can't see into the future. I come out of the financial services industry where I have over 20 years of experience of dealing and complying with very strict standards around material non-public information. I'm the only chartered financial analyst in the Senate, and I completely understand these rules and have adhered to the letter and the spirit of these ethics
Senator,
rules.
you mentioned your background. Your husband, as I understand, is the CEO of the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange. Is there a conflict here, since there were purchases that suggest that you've done well with some stocks, like the teleconferencing that I mentioned, while we have Americans across the country who have seen their 401ks plummet?
That's right. I mean, this is where you need to know that when we acquired the New York Stock Exchange back when I was part of the company, we actually put the first set of rules in that prohibited discretionary trading. So no longer do my husband and I have the ability to do discretionary trades, and that's why it's outsourced to third-party investment managers. And that's why I'm up here in Washington working for hard-working Georgian families.
And fade to black. So I'm just going to not talk about that last section and just leave it up to you. What do you believe happened, and do you believe that is exactly what it is? I will just say this because I can't let it go. I feel like that there are whales, there are manipulation going behind the scenes. And when I say whales, I mean people just in general power, or that have the ability to trade super valuable information between themselves and to look out for their best interest in their club. Look, it's just human nature to be a part of a tribe. And whatever tribe that you're a part of, if you are a tribe of the thousandaire club or the billionaire club, you always tend to look out for those people around you in some way, shape, or form. So when I hear these types of stories, and I'm always reminded of this phrase which always comes up, which is the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And I think when I hear about these types of things, not only does it reminds me of that, it makes me angry, because if I feel like at some point that people really can't get ahead because there are people out there that are really gaming the system and really cheating essentially us out of where we should actually be. Now that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's move on before I blow up. Next up, buy Bitcoin, Google searches spike, reaching a new high. This is from Alex Davnia. Man, I hope I get that guy's name right one day. So this is always good news. We like to see the Google searches come in, whether that be buy Bitcoin, Bitcoin price, Bitcoin going up, Bitcoin, whatever it is about Bitcoin, we'd like to see as far as trends in Google.com to see people actually searching for it, because that shows interest. If that shows interest, then people will get into the cryptocurrency market, and hopefully we'll have new investors come into this wonderful space. So I had to take a look at trends.google.com, just to take a real quick peek. And you have to understand that this is an aggregate. This is interest over time. And if you have to take a look at it, these numbers represent search interest relative to the highest point in the chart for the given region and time. A value of 100 is the peak popularity for the term. A value of 50 means the term is half as popular, and a score of 0 means there was not enough data or just really low output. So we can take a look at here. So for this 12-month time period, around June 23rd, 2019, it was at the top. This was the most amount of searches that you could get. People were really looking at Bitcoin, believe it actually went up at that point, so makes sense, right? And here we are again. And it went really far down. And this is by weeks, mind you. So February 2nd, 2022, 2029, kind of just dove off, and then all of a sudden, boom. March 8th to 14th, and remember what happened with March 8th to 14th? We had a huge slide as far as the cryptocurrency market, and it's kind of come up again. And the thing I wonder is, are people looking at this, I believe, well, I'm just going to ask the question, are people looking at this because they are curious to see like how far it slides down, or are they interested to see how it's actually rebounded? Remember, the cryptocurrency market was, as far as the market cap, it was down to like 120 billion, 130, and now we have rebounded in such a massive fashion. You have to understand how big this rebound actually is as compared to the S&P 500, as compared to gold and everything else out there. So the question is, what are people looking for? Is it because they're really excited to get involved into it, or they're just curious about the crash? Not for sure. But I will tell you this: if you want to take a look at, let's zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. Let's take a look at the last 5 years. So if you're looking at Google Trends over time, I'm sure you can guess when this was. 2017, when the price went ballistic, and it actually mirrored everything that as far as price went. I mean, it just started to spike and spike and spike. So of course interest went up, and that's when everybody FOMO'd in. Now we have these runs, these peaks and valleys, and here we are. And it just kind of died off, and now here we are again at a little peak. So what's going to happen in the future? Not for sure, but I got to tell you this. I do like it when people show interest in Bitcoin, because that means, hopefully, we'll have more people coming to space, and that makes me a very happy investor. All right, that's it for today's video. I want to keep the second video shorter so we can go over the scam of the day. So I want to say thanks for sticking with me through some of these rants that I go on, but I really appreciate it. But if you've got time, maybe a couple minutes or so, stick with me. We're going to go over the scam of the day. So as people get into the space, they're going to get screwed out of their money. And it's not like YouTube is able to, perfectly get rid of all the scams. So I started the scam of the day. And we've done pretty well so far. We've taken a look at the different scams that we see through YouTube videos, and we get rid of them. And I ask your help in just reporting. That's all I'm asking for. You don't have to get out of your seat. You don't have to send me any money. You don't have to do anything except just do a couple clicks. So in the description of every one of my videos, there's going to be a link, and it's going to say Scam of the Day. And right next to that link, you're just going to click on that. It's going to take you to this handy-dandy Google spreadsheet. And when you see that there is an empty space, it means that these scams are still ongoing. So why are we doing this? Well, 2020, I believe, is going to be a huge year for cryptocurrency. I believe it's going to really lead us into a good, massive, potentially bull run as soon as we figure out the coronavirus. And I will tell you this: if you've got everybody in the world looking into combating one strain of a disease process, everybody in the world, that's what they're doing right now. I believe that it will be obliterated at some point, and we will see relief. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but we've got a lot of smart people out there, but I believe in people. So as time moves on and people get in the market, the problem is they're going to get scammed out of their money, and then one person gets scammed, they tell 10 people. 10 people tell 1,000, and 1,000 tell 100,000, or 10,000. So as far as we know, we need to get rid of these scams, so let's jump right into it. So first we're going to click on the link, go to the actual first scam that we see, and this one, same one that's been going on. Wish we could get rid of it. So first thing we want to do is look at the comment section. What do we say? Looks pretty scammy, right? Well, maybe Joseph Masters is just a big hater. Maybe he doesn't like Binance. But then we got to take a look at what's called a asymmetrical giveaway. And if you see trash like this, if you send us 1 Bitcoin, you'll be airdropped 5 Bitcoin. If you give us 5 Bitcoin, we'll give you 25 Bitcoin. That does not happen. So if you ever think that Binance is giving away free money, send an email to the official Binance website. They will tell you no. If you think that Gemini Exchange is giving free airdrops, send them an email to their official website. They're going to tell you no. If you think Ripple is giving away free XRP or whoever else, just send them an email. They'll tell you no. So it's pretty simple. If you don't believe me, just believe the companies that are standing behind it. So what do? We found it's an asymmetrical giveaway. First, we're going to downvote it. Next, we're going to report it. We're going to click on these 3 dots, click on report. And we're going to say, hey, this is spam or misleading. We're going to choose one. This is a scam. And we're going to click next. We're going to say, hey, this is a scam. Get rid of this. Or whatever you want to say. And you click report. And that's all you got to do. So if you could take 10 seconds and do that, that'd be greatly appreciated by me and all the people out there that will potentially get screwed out of money by these scammers. So I really appreciate it. So thanks so much. And that will do it for today's video. If you like this type of video, there's going to be 2 more that's going to pop up on your left and right. Check those out. And that is it. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.